Hi, my name is Eddie Santos. I'm a retired Army Sergeant with more than 23 years, and I am a disabled vet. I've been all over the place trying to get assistance for my disability. And as for right now, the only person that seemed to help me out was when I went to the congressman's office, tried to get some assistance for him to help me get my prosthetic leg fixed. So finally the congressman had me the opportunity to go to Palo Alto in San Jose, California, where they finally fixed my prosthetic. If you need help and you seem to not get it anywhere, you should go see our congressman with the people he has there to help us veterans get what we need and what we deserve for doing our time in service for the freedom of our island and for our country.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
A lot has changed overnight, but Buick and GMC's commitment to you remains the same. We understand you want to feel safe, so we're offering current owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services. Should you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months with deferred payment options for 120 days. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home. Visit our websites for the help you need.
Visit AutoSpot GMC today.
Funerals actually take a lot more planning than I expected. With us using island cuisine for the first time, of course we were iffy, but once they came and showed us their service, their food, tasted their food and everything, we definitely use them again because their service and food is just awesome.
The pompous
and elite wish we go away
because we are
real and direct.
No interest owns us,
and we have no interest but the truth.
Together we are exposing
corruption.
Together we will reform criminal justice.
Together
we are fighting violence
against women and children.
We here at
Candid will shine the light
on every corner of darkness.
Together we are giving a voice
to the voiceless
and forgotten.
Stay lit.
Together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Together.
We are giving a voice to the voiceless and forgotten.
We are Candid News Group.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Governor of Guam, Lou Leon Guerrero.
Hey, hello everybody. Thank you for coming to this news. As you can see, Lieutenant Josh Tenorius not here right now because that son of a bitsy man is making me... Adriana Crateru is going to ask me to apologize, and I'm going to have to say, I'm sorry. Oh, my God, I'm sorry. For what? Just because I didn't give food to the poor people? Huh? Just because Janella, she's not going to apologize. How come you're not asking me if Janella will say that she's sorry? But, I guess I'll answer your own questions today. Okay. All right, that's all.
Buenas, Marianas, and Micronesia. I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
And that was Governor Lulubelle Leon Guerrero for you in her news conference today.
She was really, really nice today, Troy.
I think so.
And everybody was allowed to ask as much questions as they wanted.
Much
and it
to
made
Janela
me,
Carrera's chagrin.
It made me want to vomit.
I just have one question about that. If all of the media gets to ask all the questions that they want, and all Janela Carrera has to do, because she can't press the mute button anymore, according to Staff Assistant Carlo Branch, if all Janela's job is to say, okay, next question from the Daily Post, we have John O'Connor. I don't know what she's getting the big bucks for. She can't even apologize to the people of Guam, like the Lieutenant Governor told her.
I missed a lot because while the governor was on, we had a lot of families coming to Candid to pick up food.
Yeah,
a
lot.
We want to give thanks to, there's a lot of anonymous donors, but one donation, they wanted it in loving memory of Harry Saver of PD, and then in honor of Santa Maria, and then in appreciation of the Divine Mercy.
Oh, that's really nice.
So that was from one, a couple of donors into one. And then I also wanted to thank Brandy, Maureen, Lee, Anthony, Gina, and then 4 anonymous donors, and then Mr. and Mrs. James Atkins, James and Alexis Atkins for their donations. So everything went out today. I believe we only have one more set for a family. We still have Pampers, and then so if anybody else out there wants to donate, it is going to families that need it.
I believe, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but AutoSpot is donating tomorrow?
Yes.
Right? Was I supposed to keep that anonymous?
No, they wanted it anonymous.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Derek. Oops.
You're all right, Derek, right? I think a lot of the people that do want to keep it anonymous don't want to make it a political thing.
Oh, okay.
So,
good for them.
The families that came today are really grateful, and thank you, Candid Land, for all your donations.
It is going to make a very big difference because the Guam legislature went into session today, and though they had an opportunity to provide local relief for the people of Guam, relief that we can trust, because people are going to ask in this live stream about the governor's relief program, and I just want to say to you that we are not even going to bother reporting about that because we don't even trust that something is really, and if something actually does happen, we don't believe it's going to be equitable or to many people's satisfaction. So we're not even going to bother with that. But
Derek says it's all good.
It's all good in the good? Okay. Good. So, sorry. So the legislature went into session. They did not discuss any local bills. They didn't discuss any bill at all, any new bill at least, in the form of tax refunds, tax burden relief, Regine Lee's $40 million local stimulus bill. None of it was discussed, and we don't know why, except that there is light at the end of the tunnel. The legislature this week will be going back into business. On Thursday, they're going to have the government's financial officers at the table to discuss the government's fiscal situation, and I believe that it is from there that the legislature will finally have the data that they need to get moving with their responsibilities in cutting the budget and in telling Governor Leon Guerrero where the legislature says that the money should be spent. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, the governor basically has carte blanche on spending, and in our top thing tonight, what we're going to do tonight as our top story is go through this spreadsheet of spending that the governor wants to do, and you're going to be so disgusted by the things that we've seen if you haven't already seen this spreadsheet. Now, the legislature did override the governor's bill, Senator Therese Terlahi's bill number 333 by a 14-1 vote. The one, which is really like 5, is Senator Amanda Shelton, who said the stupidest things, just absolutely
Troy,
the
she
dumbest
read off
things.
a piece of paper that was given to her.
Well, whoever wrote it is dumb because it made no sense whatsoever. She said that if we want to restore transparency and accountability in our government, we need to trust the governor, the very source of the opaqueness and the stealing and the corruption coming out of the government. Senator Amanda Shelton's cure for all of this is to trust the very person who is siphoning from the people of Guam. And if ever you wanted to call Guam Isla de Ladrones, well, now is that time, because we sure are measuring up to that.
Well, when Senator Lee and Amanda Beluga, right?
Yeah.
When they were going at it, or when it looked like they were going at it.
That was like David and Goliath right there.
No, I know, because Lee is so small.
But she was getting up in her face. She was getting up in her face.
No, in my mind, she did like a fly kick. You know, like I wanted her to like fly kick so she could fall over, you know? But that's just me.
She looked mad. She looked mad at Amanda Shelton. And then I think Talina Nelson got involved. Joseph Augustine tried to get involved, but then like very quickly he just ran away back to his desk.
And he's like, yes, ungan por favor. Like, please get me out of here.
Amy Jackson, oh wait, she's responding to something. I'm sorry. Let's go to some of her comments here before we move on. Richard Leon says, Governor Little Lou LG is the biggest price gouger. Pizza Roberto says, the legislature didn't want to see the Orca Manyahak deck the gaming orca. Jacob Nakamura says, Mailman, you know we turned that light on and peer into all dark corners. As many as we can. Donna Marie says, Hafaday, my favorite news team. Why, Hafaday there, Donna Marie. Tony Uggan says, yo, keep up the good work and goodwill for the people of Guam. Thank you. Franklin Meno says to the legislature, gutless. Amy Jackson responds to John, but it's probably from 2018 and they lied about it being complete. I think they're talking about that initial round of stimulus that came out, the one that the governor advanced from the federal funds.
The governor doesn't know of any food banks.
Yeah.
She had no clue. She probably thought she was talking about the banks.
I think the Bank of Guam, where she cashes in her bank of lies. Jacob says to Denise Pangilinan, thanks Denise, we are here because of you and all our Candid Land familia.
Yes.
Peter Roberto says, and press the trust reset button on Detroit. That's what Senator Amanda Shelton was saying. We need to press the reset button on this. Like, as though we can take back all of the bad movement, all of the illegal activity that's been conducted by the Leon Guerrero administration throughout this public health emergency.
It happened so fast. We had to get this place for these people to stay so fast. Well, it doesn't, you still need to follow the law. And even if you declare the public health emergency, you still need to follow the federal procurement laws.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whether it happens so fast or not, you still need to follow 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
And they also need to respect the constitutional rights of the people to include the freedom of the press. And so far, after today's news conference with the governor, it started with Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio yesterday on Sabrina and Chris's show on KOAM, apologizing to the people of Guam for that Thursday news conference where they shut off the media. And then it followed with Carlo Branch issuing, or on, I think he was on an interview, a phone interview with Chris Barnett later on that day, after he issued a sorry excuse for an apology to the rest of the media. I guess he probably got in trouble from the lieutenant governor, and he had to, wipe egg off of his face and tell Chris Barnett that, did you just get a
I just
visual
had
there?
a visual of, yeah.
Yeah, to tell Chris Barnett that it was his fault and he should have been a better person and he's, learning on the job and all this must have been real difficult for Carlo Branch to say all that stuff. And then today, and albeit only when she was prodded, Governor Leon Guerrero said she was sorry to Adriana Cortero and to all of the people of Guam. But you know who hasn't said one word about that whole thing is the actual director of communications, Janella Carrera. Do we have a picture of her? I know you have a picture of her, Chalu, that Jacob Nakamura put up. But Janella Carrera, who was the person who actually pressed the mute button, who actually refused to direct the questions to the people in the governor's panel, has not said one peep about anything, even though Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio has ordered her to apologize to the people of Guam. She still said nothing. This is a picture of Janella on her, I think this is a Greek vacation that she's on, or I'm not sure if that's Spain. I have no idea where that's at. Just 2 feet from it, huh? And what? That was really mean of you to say, Eric Rosario. Oh my goodness. How can you say such a thing? So there's that. There's that. Oh, there we go. Look at that. What is that? Casa what? In Barcelona. There's Janella in Spain. This was on a vacation that she took.
Oh, sorry.
Is that in the same folder or what? Is that folder 1909? So, so this is one of 2 vacations that she took at a time when Janella Carrera did not have enough annual leave hours to be gone for as long as she was. And according to records disclosed by the Department of Administration, she was paid regular time for this period that she was on these vacations. Now, we sent these documents to the Office of the Public Auditor and to the Attorney General's office, and to this day, not one darn thing has been done.
And that's because she believes she does not get paid by tax dollars.
Yes, we will release that video tomorrow. It's a re-release. It's an oldie but a goodie of an interview that we had with Janella Carrera when she just lost her marbles under pressure with some, well, we were just asking her for the truth and she refused to answer. And so it is what it is, right? Our next story is about something that we did today. And I want to read to you a letter that we sent to the Office of the Guam Bar Association Ethics Prosecutor. Subject, ethics complaint against Haig Huynh, Governor's legal counsel and son-in-law. Hafaday, this letter serves as a formal ethics complaint against Haig Huynh, who is serving as the legal counsel for Guam Governor Lou Leon Guerrero. I allege violation of the following Guam Rules of Professional Conduct adopted from the 2002 American Bar Association Model Rules for Professional Conduct. Rule 8.4a, misconduct. It is professional misconduct for a lawyer to A, violate or attempt to violate the rules of professional conduct, knowingly assist or induce another to do so or do so through the acts of another. Rule 8.4b, it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to commit a criminal act that reflects adversely on the lawyer's honesty, trustworthiness, or fitness as a lawyer in other respects. Rule 8.4c, it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to engage in conduct involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, or misrepresentation. Rule 8.4d, it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to engage in conduct that is prejudicial to the administration of justice. E, it is professional misconduct for a lawyer to state or imply an ability to influence improperly a government agency or official, or to achieve results by means that violate the rules of professional conduct or other law. F, knowingly assist a judge or judicial officer in conduct that is a violation of applicable rules of judicial conduct or other law. Rule 1.2d, scope of representation and allocation of authority between client and lawyer. A lawyer shall not counsel a client to engage or assist a client in conduct that the lawyer knows is criminal or fraudulent, but a lawyer may discuss the legal consequences of any proposed course of conduct with the client and may counsel or assist a client to make a good faith effort to determine the validity, scope, meaning, or application of the law. Rule 1.7a, conflict of interest. Except as provided in paragraph B, a lawyer shall not represent a client if the representation involves a concurrent conflict of interest. A concurrent conflict of interest exists if, 1, the representation of one client will be directly adverse to another client, and A2, the representation is not prohibited by law. Rule 1.8b, conflict of interest. A lawyer should not use information relating to representation of a client to the disadvantage of the client unless the client gives informed consent except as permitted or required by these rules. Rule 1.11d, special conflicts of interest for former and current government officers and employees. Except as law may otherwise expressly permit, a lawyer currently serving as a public officer or employee shall not participate in a matter in which the lawyer participated personally and substantially while in private practice or non-governmental employment unless the appropriate government agency gives its informed consent confirmed in writing. Rule 2.1, advisor. In representing a client, a lawyer shall exercise independent professional judgment and render candid advice, candid. In rendering advice, a lawyer may refer not only to law but to other considerations such as moral, economic, social, and political factors that may be relevant to the client's situation. And Rule 4.1a and b, truthfulness in statements to others. In the course of representing a client, a lawyer shall not knowingly make a false statement of material fact or law to a third person, or b, fail to disclose a material fact when disclosure is necessary to avoid assisting a criminal or fraudulent act by a client unless disclosure is prohibited by Rule 1.6. To support the violations of the above Guam Rules of Professional Conduct by Mr. Haig Huynh, we submit the following attachments. 1, FEMA approval of non-congregate sheltering time extension request. 2, list of territory certification officers of FEMA Territory Agreement EM 3466. 3, list of territory certification of FEMA Territory Agreement DR-4495. 4, invoices. 5, emails. 6, FEMA approval of non-congregate sheltering. 7, news, GHS never saw contracts committing its agency to $7 million in hotel funding scenario backs to Norcy. 8, news, governor's lawyer broke travel quarantine orders. 9, news, Huyhn's emails implicate his mother-in-law. 10, news, millions for hotel contracts and no documents of price quotes. 11, hotels without contracts for quarantine, Guam News, Post Guam. 12, use of director's digital signature without her knowledge, editorials, Post Guam. And finally, Lieutenant Governor critical of administration's procurement tactics, KOAM News. Furthermore, I allege violation by Mr. Haig Huynh of the following Guam Rules of Professional Conduct. Admission to bar, Rule 8.1a and b. All applicants for admission to the bar or a lawyer in connection with the bar admission application or in connection with a disciplinary matter shall not a, knowingly make a false statement of material fact, or b, fail to disclose a fact necessary to correct a misapprehension known by the person to have arisen in the matter, or knowingly fail to respond to a lawful demand for information from an admissions or disciplinary authority, except that this rule does not require disclosure of information otherwise protected by Rule 1.6. Our allegation: Governor Lulian Guerrero hired her son-in-law, Hai, at a time when he had no license whatsoever to practice law. Ms. Leon Guerrero's term began January 7, 2019. Mr. Huynh did not receive the reissuance of his temporary license to practice law from the Supreme Court until 5 days later, January 11, 2019. Mr. Huynh received his temporary license on August 10, 2016, when he began working for the Public Defender Services Corporation. Guam law allows temporary licensure for 5 years to attorneys who haven't passed the Guam bar examination and who will work for either the Attorney General's office, the Public Defender, or the alternate Public Defender. Those with the temporary license are to serve full-time in one of those agencies continuously. A year later, after he received his temporary license, he resigned from the Public Defenders to work as Associate General Counsel at the Bank of Guam, when his mother-in-law was the president and CEO of the bank. His duties included the daily provision of legal advice, which according to Guam law and laws throughout Micronesia and San Francisco, where the bank has branches, is either not ethical or not legal without full licensure. Mr. Huynh was dispensing legal advice and acting as an attorney without any kind of license whatsoever until January 11, 2019. During that period, he not only acted as an attorney for the bank's headquarters, he also constantly provided legal advice to Ms. Leon-Guerrero's transition team between November 8, 2018 through the start of Ms. Leon-Guerrero's term in office. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. We hope for a speedy investigation and resolution as this matter directly impacts every single man, woman, and child on Guam. See what happens when you hire a lawyer who doesn't have a full licensure to practice law on Guam to the highest possible lawyer position outside of the Attorney General's office in the executive branch is you get the illegal procurement of hotel contracts for hotels that have a direct conflict of interest with the sitting governor who signs those contracts and her son-in-law, who is the legal advisor, who quarterbacked the procurement contracts and himself has a conflict of interest with those hotels. And then you get all kinds of investigations. So, Candid News couldn't just stand by idly and wait for the public auditor or the Attorney General of Guam, who happens to be Haig Huynh's best friend, to do something about this. We had to act, and we had to submit an ethics complaint to the Guam Bar Association, which will have its hearing through the Supreme Court of Guam. And hopefully, that organization is not corrupt like the executive branch, and hopefully justice is dispensed with, because this is just a little too much, everyone. It is just a little too much for us to be comfortable with and for us to just sit on our laurels and say nothing at all. Before we get to the associated story regarding, because it ain't just Haig Huynh, no siree. I think, though, that if Haig Huynh resigns or is fired by his mother-in-law, that might actually save her. That might actually save her, because he really is at the top of this, but he's implicated his mother-in-law, and his mother-in-law who...
Backed him.
She backed him.
She backed him today.
She admitted that it was her. But before we get to that story, let's go to your comments. Fita Roberto says, and she knows about this, sole source is illegal since there are many hotels who can provide the same services on the island. If you take occupancy without a purchase order generated by invitation to bid or request for proposal signed by GSA Chief Procurement Officer Claudia Ekfaji, that is services rendered, and services rendered is illegal. Amy Jackson said, ignore me, fine. I love you, sister.
What's she talking
Franklin Meno, I don't know. Franklin Meno says she gets paid with money from Monopoly Game Board. Roz Fernandez says, imagine how many bankruptcies there are going to be this year. Jacob Nakamura says, John Ananich, thank you, Senator. Love and light. Roki Onkanko says, it's okay because Janella is a kiss there. I cannot say that. Bob Cruz says, but his brows are spot on.
Yeah, Haig Huynh or whatever.
Oh, I want to see his. I've never looked at his eyebrows. Let me see his eyebrows. Oh yeah, he does have nice eyebrows. Good for him. I'm sure all the guys in prison will love his eyebrows too.
His, the AG will love it. They can be blood brothers or whatever.
Hannah says, Candid, tell our governor, give us our money. We are waiting so long and hurting bad. I hear you. I hear you, sister. Swanita Yoma says, just out of curiosity, are they going to retest everybody since it was done wrong? No. The governor said that they're doing it right. When that question came up, that lady has a little too much pride, you know. I can't say that either. Ronnie Blas says, who watched Carlo getting roasted today by Chris and Sabrina this morning? I didn't, but I'll watch it. Ismael Velez says, damn this weather, Janella, where's my umbrella? The people are crying about federal money and how much they whine is kind of funny. They cry so much, I gotta wear my rain boots thinking they can get me with a silly lawsuit. I'm a banker, no one knows money the way I do, and I'm rolling in the dough thanks to the Wuhan flu. Ain't no other governor who can play the game the way I play. I'm the mother flipping queen, and my LT governor is gay. I'm surrounded by those who praise me. Damn it, Janella, I asked for a white chocolate mocha, not a black tea. Hashtag white chocolate mocha. Thank you, Ismail. Pam Cruz says, so who's Janella Carrera? I think we can say this. So who's Janella Carrera banging an Adelup? Who was that high-ranking dude for the administration? Was the guy from room 1909. Oh my goodness. Richard Leon says,
this Guam people, they like to talk a lot.
Esa leche, because I'm a Christian. Richard Leon says, and Guam Bar Association just twiddles its thumbs. Bank of Guam thumb-sucking logic. Biba Guam says, I got a question. How did the Theodore Roosevelt rent rooms at the Pacific Star of Gov Guam had rented it out
They
first?
didn't.
I think the Teddy Roosevelt ones were at Hyatt, Dusit, Outrigger, Hilton,
Some was at the Reef.
Sheraton, Reef? Oh, okay,
so.
okay. Bob Cruz says, most searched subject on Google by directors. How to write a resignation letter. Did Pilar Laguardia give any notice in her resignation, or she's no longer
No,
working?
but the governor said she's still there.
Oh, okay, so then maybe she gave notice then.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't all of a sudden then. Okay, okay. Jules Maloney says, test positive and return back to isolation. Was that due to the faulty testing procedure? She's so sure it's correct. Honestly, Jules, we don't know because they're not, they say they're being transparent by answering these questions, but all of their answers are really non-answers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to tell. Now, the story that's related to this filing of an ethics complaint, you know, if Haig Huynh doesn't leave that office, it's going to spell trouble for his mother-in-law. There's just no way around that.
Well, he can't even do his job. He's supposed to be giving her good, sound advice because that's what he was put there to do. But he ends up doing the do and not doing it right. So why is he even there?
He even says, he writes in emails, the governor told me to do this. This is upon the advice of the governor. And I'm thinking, like, isn't there some attorney-client privilege where you're not supposed to say what your client tells you because he is her client?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, she is his client.
Yeah, but then they always come back and say, I need to talk to legal counsel about this. So who's giving who the advice? So why is he in that position? He's the one that's supposed to be giving her the advice on legal things.
Well, because he doesn't even have a license to practice law. So where else is he going to work? Maybe Bank of Guam. But as I understand it, the people there don't even like him. So the governor ended up defending her son-in-law today, but there's more than meets the eye to this story, and Johnny Rosario is going to give you that story now.
Can you go to that so people can follow?
Yeah.
In case.
And we are here.
Governor Lulian Guerrero defended her legal counsel and son-in-law, Haig Huynh, Haig Huynh's conduct of illegal procurement of hotels for quarantine and said, I told him to do it. The governor said she believes Mr. Huynh, how do you say his last name?
Huynh.
Huynh. Mr. Huynh did nothing wrong when the Guam Daily Post John O'Connor asked for her comment about the hotel contracts. When asked about her and her son-in-law's conflict of interest regarding the hotels that have outstanding loan balances with the Bank of Guam, Ms. Leon Guerrero said, quote, my only interest is the people of Guam. She denied the procurement of hotels that would financially benefit her family and said the hotels were selected following a solicitation by Mr. Huynh and Mary Rhodes that yielded the responses of 3 hotels. Ms. Rhodes is the president of the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. She volunteered to help the government.
Oh, I got a call from Mary Rhodes, by the way, about Eric's story. Sorry, Jello, I'm throwing you under the bus right now. So I forgot to tell you, you have to change your story because she said she did not volunteer for this. She was asked by the government to help.
She was voluntold.
So I think this was their way of covering their butts.
Yeah.
Is by using GHRA. And so anyway, they're not a political organization, so to speak. So you can trust what Mary Rhodes says. Go
No,
ahead, sorry
no
about that.
such solicitation document has been disclosed by the government, and according to Civil Defense Administrator Charles Estevez, there are no price quotation documents that exist. There actually are 4 so-called hotels being used for the quarantine of residents and travelers. Wyndham Gardens Hotel, Days Inn Hotel, Hotel Santa Fe, and the Pacific Star Hotel. When Mr. O'Connor pointed this out, Ms. Leon Guerrero contradicted her first statement about all the sites being selected through a solicitation process and admitted that the Pacific Star Hotel was later added to the original 3. Of the 4 hotels, it is the Pacific Star that has the largest note with the Bank of Guam, a $32 million mortgage issued in 2016. Contrary to the governor's version of events, however, 4 documents, all dated March 18, 2020, indicate Ms. Leon Guerrero selected the 4 hotels as quarantine sites on the same day, and only 4 days after the public health emergency started. Email documents show it was her son-in-law, Mr. Huynh, who led the selection of the negotiations with the hotels. He also directed the government's financial officers to cut advance payments to the hotels without any contract executed. To this day, the contracts are with Chief Procurement Officer Claudia Akfaji, who has refused to sign off on the documents because of the incomplete procurement record and the illegal nature of the procurement, according to an email by Budget Director Lester Carlson. About $142,000 has already been paid. According to Mr. Estevez, funds have never been certified. Governor's former chief of staff, Anthony Babauta, resigned hours before Candid broke the first story on this corruption scandal and attempted cover-up.
Oh, you mean the one that we were accused of falsely reporting on? The one where a couple of people were like, oh, he couldn't possibly have been at Pacific Star Hotel. And then, of course, the admission.
Yeah. While he was copied on much of the email documents disclosed to Candid, it was Mr. Huynh and his legal office who were directing the procurement. Part of the procurement included the electronic use of Public Health Director Linda DeNorcy's signature without her knowledge of permission. Linda said she doesn't remember, and that's understandable because she's been very busy. Ms. Leon Guerrero said when asked about the forgery allegation, since news of the corruption scandal broke, Mr. Huynh has said nothing. Staff Assistant Carlo Branch tried and failed to arrange an off-the-record interview between Mr. Huynh and Island Media regarding the scandal. Only the Pacific News Center, Kevin Kerrigan, agreed to the unethical sit-down, and Mr. Branch had to cancel the event, which was scheduled for this morning. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, in an interview with KUAM, Sabrina Salas, Matanani, and Chris, said the island's Attorney General and Chief Procurement Officer should look into the contracts issue. Quote, I think there are some concerns, obviously, end quote. The governor spoke on the issue for the first time today, but only when asked. Janella Carrera, her Director of Communications, has neither answered questions on the matter, nor has she issued the public apology for her role in violating the freedom of the press, as the Lieutenant Governor has told her to do.
What kind of banana republic is going on at the governor's office itself? It's like they are all over the place. They do not know what to do.
No, once they said, okay, bad contracts, we are going down. Everybody's like, I am off this ship. Linda said, I don't, that is not my signature. I did not do that. Josh Tenorio gets on the air and he makes sure I'm not a part of that. I'm always at UOG. That's where the governor put me. And so I'm not part of that. So they all are jumping ship.
He's like, you crazy lady.
I'm not part of this.
You crazy.
And we never really know why Tony Babauta resigned.
So that guy was a super scapegoat. That I'm convinced.
No, I'm saying him as himself. He may have resigned because of the scandal at 1909, you know, the party. But then he could have resigned because he really doesn't want any part of this scandal.
Yeah. You know,
He could have. Maybe he's thinking, man, all that stuff that whatever happened at the DOJ, I don't want part of this. I need to get out now.
Yeah. Could be. He was saving his butt.
Yeah.
Because he understood, he was copied in all of those emails, but he hardly spoke in any of those emails.
Yeah.
Haig Huynh, in one of the emails, it was just so a nonchalant, signed this. And apparently the contracts were attached to it. We've never received the attachments from Civil Defense. And Chuck Estevez said that it's because he doesn't have the contracts that were sent to Claudia Agfaji, the Chief Procurement Officer. To this day, without the disclosure of those contracts, we don't know what signatures are on there, except that the governor has said that she has signed it. Now, the governor would sign in two places on a contract, one as the issuing authority and one as the final authority. And that's after the Attorney General signs. There is some evidence that the Attorney General's office has seen these draft contracts as they were going through the procurement process. But the Attorney General's office is saying, no, we don't have that. We haven't seen that. We have not signed that. That's because it's stuck at the procurement office. And it's stuck at the procurement office after Haig Huynh decided to skip over the administering agency through which these contracts are being funded. That's Guam Homeland Security Office of Civil Defense, $7 million worth in contracts. And neither the administrator for Civil Defense nor Guam Homeland Security Advisor, Tim Uggan, nor the compliance officer, nor the certifying officer have ever seen these documents for their signature.
Yep.
And so the question is, did Tony Babalza, who is the governor's authorized representative, sign those contracts, or was it actually Governor Lulian Guerrero herself? And if the governor was the one who signed it herself, boy, she is in a lot of trouble. And it was her own son-in-law that put her into that trouble. But she can't shirk responsibility for this, because she's been in government service for years.
Not knowing is not an excuse, or
ignorance of the law is
it's not an excuse,
something
right?
like that. Yeah. It's not a proper defense. Ignorance of the law is not a proper defense. And if ignorance of the law is being not a proper defense can apply to the everyday Jose and Maria, it should apply especially to the governor of Guam, who has had years of government of Guam experience as a senator and now as the governor. There's just no excuse for her conduct. And it's not like Haig Huynh, her own son-in-law, is giving her an excuse or even any leeway because he implicates her.
Or any real legal advice.
And he's just as silent as Janela Carrera. He hasn't said a darn thing about this whole thing. He's just letting his mother-in-law take the heat for all of this, and maybe rightfully so. Maybe rightfully so. It ain't just Haig Huynh.
Because she could have said, I want you to handle it to the son-in-law, and I'll just sign whatever I need to sign. I can't be the one to do, you know what I mean?
But he couldn't be it either, because
know.
he had no authority whatsoever to conduct the procurement or to sign anything. So as the governor was taking credit for the illegal activity at the news conference today, she also answered some questions about a spending plan that she submitted to the Guam legislature of the $117,968,257.80 in CARES Act funding that she is prepared to spend. I don't know if any expenditures have happened so far, but you guys are going to be shocked at the kinds of things they want to spend. Go ahead and cast to my screen. So here's her cover letter to the speaker. I don't know if you guys can see what's on the screen, but I'll read this to you. So under expenditures for COVID-19 related medical expenses, there's $23,600 to Guam Behavioral Health for for rental of ADA portable toilet for screening area. Okay. American Medical Center, FHP, and SDA, $7 million. That's compensation for GovGuam's use. We're going to look more closely into that, especially the FHP and SDA part. $3 million to Homeland Security for the temporary hospital program COVID-19 related expenses. They're going to construct a temporary hospital, and Chuck Estevez said that this is going to be probably on the grounds of the Guam Memorial Hospital. For Department of Public Health and Social Services, a whopping $313,000 for COVID-19 testing. Imagine that. Out of $117 million, not even 1%, well, just 1/3, not even 1/3 of 1% of the budget is for COVID-19 testing. Unbelievable. For emergency medical response, including medical transportation to behavioral health, $48,000 are stipends for crisis hotline workers. For GPD, $500,000. Tough books for vehicles, that's $67,000. Mounts for the tough books, that's $7,500. Emergency response vehicles, 10 at a total $300,000. And radios for emergency response vehicles, $120,000. For Guam Fire Department, $1.8 million. That's ambulance repairs, medical oxygen refills, collection of biohazard waste, purchase of 3 ambulances, and purchase of 2 fire trucks. That's the fire trucks, $1.5 million. For GMH, $3.5 million. These are the contracts for doctors. And then telehealth software, $6,000 for Guam Behavioral Health. Now, under COVID-19 related public health expenses for the governor's office, emergency declaration, $700,000. They do not say what exactly that's going to be spent for. Another for Office of the Governor, $3,000 COVID communication. What the governor's office needs to do is reassemble its budget for its current communication staff, get rid of them, and put in new communication staffers. That's what they need to do. Guam Visitors Bureau, $4,002 for COVID communications. The Public Library, $120 for campaign materials regarding COVID-19. What in the holy world is that? And why is the Guam Public Library procuring it? Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, $400. Guam Waterworks Authority, $32,876 for communications and public service announcements. For the acquisition and distribution of medical and protective supplies, and we're gonna have a story about someone's PPEs, a business's PPEs that had a business license being seized by customs today, or no, I'm sorry, 10 days ago, and has not been released to that business, even though the business has a business license. We're gonna have a story about that tomorrow. But customs and quarantine, $51,000 for latex gloves, N95 mask, alcohol, disinfectant spray, disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizer, even though they're seizing businesses' commodities, those same commodities at the ports. Department of Corrections, $45,045 for the same things, but including infrared forehead thermometers, disposable probe covers, ear thermometers, spit sock. We're also gonna have a story about how absolutely no testing has happened but for the inmates and detainees at Department of Corrections since this whole thing began, despite what government officials have been telling us. For Civil Service Commission, same stuff, $3,200. Guam Behavioral Health, $15,000, same stuff. DYA, $11,000 for PPE masks. DISID, $10,000 for thermal body scanner, masks, gloves, first aid kits. Guam Police Department, $196,000. Same sort of stuff. And they're also going to spend $2,200 on duct tape.
What?
No, I'm not kidding. It says right there, duct tape, $2.2K. Guam Fire Department, $204,000, same stuff. But they're also going to include firefighter, bunker gear, spare oxygen tanks, decontamination tents, rigidized tablets, I have no idea what that is, blood pressure cuffs, electronic thermometers. Department of Military Affairs, $150, not specified by department. UOG, $32,000 for thermometers, KN95 masks, face shields, masks, gloves, oximeter.
Didn't they get a $40,000, they raised $40,000 for that already?
Yes, but you have to understand the University of Guam is much better than the rest of us. Oh. They are more important than actual people. And so therefore, they can take credit cards and go get massages at the Benteng Spa and go on shopping sprees at Macy's and Ross and spend thousands of dollars on our money, for their luxuries. So that's why UOG gets another $32,000. Guam Community College, look at this by comparison.
Wow.
GCC only is asking for $169.20 for gloves. Unbelievable, UOG. GVB, 14,000 various PPE and cleaning supplies and thermometers. The airport, 16,000 particulate, respirator and surgical mask, infrared thermometer, body temperature, but palm held, thermal imagers, gloves. Why didn't they get this stuff already? Public library, $1,300 for face mask, gloves, and first aid kit. Why the hell do they need that? I don't understand. Guam Memorial Hospital, $319,000. Inventory issues, actual expenses today. Okay, GMH gets it. Chief Medical Examiner, $3,300. Look at this. The Chief Medical Examiner is getting 1/10 of what UOG is getting. Unbelievable. EPA, $1,500 for the same stuff. Department of Agriculture, $1,500 for surgical face masks. They have, I think, 60 employees. What the hell do they need $1,500 for surgical face masks for? That doesn't... Port of Guam, $7,000 for PPEs. Again, why $7,000 for face masks for the port that has 400 employees? Well, that's a lot more understandable than Department of Agriculture, though, when you think about it. GPA, $1,500 for respirators, non-contract thermometers. Why does GPA need respirators? Is there some kind of like respirator machine that...
No, maybe the respirator mask.
Oh, because they deal with like chemicals and stuff, right?
No.
No? What is it then?
It could be the guys going out or the good mask for the people who are handling clients or customers.
Oh, okay. DPW, $63,000 for PPEs and sanitation of the fleet. Okay. Judiciary, $3,000 for hand sanitizers, dispensers, N95 masks, medical masks. Guam Waterworks, $125,000 for PPE. Okay, disinfection of public areas and other facilities. This is where it starts to get interesting. Customs, $30,000 a month for 7 months. That's $210,000. That's to disinfect their area over at the airport. DOC, $9,000 for bleach disinfection. Okay, that's for the prison. Civil Service Commission, $560 for...
She lies all the time.
For Lysol spray. And Clorox wipes. It couldn't be Western Family. It couldn't have been like Clorox spray and Lysol wipes. I don't know. Behavioral health, $61,000 for paper towel, toilet tissue, bleach, all-purpose cleaner, spray bottles. Okay, that one's questionable. Department of Youth Affairs, $80,000 projected sanitizing services. Okay, they do have clients who stay there, right? Office of the Governor, $6,400. Cleaning of the conference room, disinfecting the governor's complex, disinfection sprayer, also rodent control. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think that the people at the governor's office make far more than enough money to clean that damn office themselves. Because when I worked at the governor's office, yes, there were a couple of people who did janitation. Am I saying that right? Sanitation? Janitation.
Yeah, the lady remembered you.
And
she missed you.
I know, I love Carmen. Because two people can't handle a whole complex by themselves, we just cleaned our own offices. We vacuumed ourselves, disinfected ourselves. This is ridiculous, $6,400 for the taxpayers who are waiting for their stimulus so that we can pay for the governor's office to be cleaned when all of those people at the governor's office can pick up a brush themselves and clean that damn place themselves. DISID, $22,000 for antibacterial hand soap, alcohol, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes and spray. Touch-free foam dispenser, $1,500. Foam hand sanitizer, $1,000. Paper towel, $250. And disinfecting services, that means contracts for cronies, $10,000. What in the world do they need $22,000 for an office of what, 10 people who work at DISID? Guam Police Department, $80,000. That's understandable, same stuff. Department of Military Affairs, $700. Sanitizing products, disinfect. Okay, well, that's fine. University of Guam, $19,000. Disinfection janitorial services, disinfecting wipes and rubbing alcohol. They have an entire maintenance division at the University of Guam. Why are we paying $19,000 more? The airport, $10,000 for auto electrics. Okay, that's a big place. Public library, this is interesting. Because if I'm not mistaken, we've got one in Agania.
Yeah.
Right? $28,687.20 for the sanitation of the public library. Disinfection services, $7,000. Steam cleaning of carpet, chairs, and floors, $18,000. Hand sanitizers, $691. Hand soap, $1,020. Clorox wipes, $216. Lysol spray, $180. What in the world are they thinking? The Environmental Protection Agency, they've got one small office in Teton, $5,476 for disinfection supplies. GPA, which has a much bigger building, and GWA, when they have several satellite buildings throughout the island, $5,400 and $206,000 respectively. Judiciary of Guam, $63,000 for air duct cleaning, $35,955, and carpet cleaning, $27,446. So I guess this whole time that there has been no trials, that I guess the coronavirus secretly made its way into the carpets at the court. I think they noticed that there was no light coming from inside the judiciary, and so the virus all like jumped off of the people. And then like...
Therese Ray just says there's libraries in Agate, Derrida, Barragata, and Jotnia.
Are they open? Are they actually open?
I don't know.
That's still a lot of money, even with those satellite offices.
You know who's
open.
not in that cleaning, whatever, sanitation, whatever?
Who?
The people that are going to handle bodies.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know who's also not on this list is the Department of Education. Yeah, your kids, when they go back to school, the teachers. Yeah. The governor's not providing anything to sanitize the schools. P.S. Public safety measures undertaken. GPD is going to get $11,000 for pop-up canopies, reflective cones, tables and coolers. Oh, that's to pay for their stupid roadblocks that they had to cancel because they were stupid. Department of Military Affairs, $98,000. That was the cost of the activation of the National Guard for those roadblocks. BBMR, $11,000 for office reconfiguration. Oh, they're going to get a renovation at BBMR with this CARES Act funding, this federal funding. That is not one single penny of this is going to food for the hungry. And BBMR is going to get $11,432.09 to renovate their small office at Adelu. Civil Service Commission, $2,500 for plexiglass installation. Behavioral Health, $11,000 for plexiglass. DISID, $7,000 for plexiglass. Guam Visitors Bureau, $5,000 for plexiglass.
How come nothing for DOE?
Nothing. They don't like education. Rev and Tax, $47,000 plexiglass. The library, $5,400 for plexiglass. EPA, holy cow, $25,295 and 56 for plexiglass. Oh my gosh. Here is the mandatory, the hotel quarantine. One of the accounts, $4 million in CARES Act funding for Homeland Security. DYA, $6,300 for projected additional water and power for the use of the gym for the quarantine facility. Related payroll expense for public safety, healthcare, and human services.
What gym?
I don't know, some gym. YCF gym. I don't know what that stands for.
For a quarantine facility.
Youth Correctional Facility.
Youth Correctional Facility gym. I guess they're going to use it as a quarantine facility. $22 million. Now, this pays for the pay differential, you know, like the hazard pay, the night differential, all that stuff for
So they're
the
getting
people
the
working.
money for, they're going to pay.
Not the double pay, no. That's not it. For Judiciary, Office of the Attorney General and OPA, $3.9 million for their differential pay. UOG, $70,000 for their I don't know why we're paying for UOG's differential pay. They have their own budget. $3 million for GMH differential pay, and Guam Visitors Bureau, $5,000 for their 10% hazard pay projected. Related actions to facilitate compliance with public health measures. Guam Behavioral Health, $8,400 for nourishment for residential homes, actual expended, blah, 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 okay. Oh, DOE, here we go. $1 million for the continuation of food distribution program through summer 2020. So rather than getting a waiver for the summer from the USDA, they're gonna take $1 million in CARES Act funding, and this won't even provide food for the weekends. People are still starving on the weekends. And that is just for the parents and stuff like that, right? The kids. There are Zoom subscriptions. We'll skip over that. Okay, now this is the one that should piss everyone off. It's called Improved Telework Capabilities for Public Employees to Enable Compliance with Public Health Precautions. BBMR is going to get $34,238.80 for the following. $32,640 in laptops. One wireless mouse for a computer, which costs $749.40, and one laptop bag for $849.40. Now, I was thinking about this. Now, a Louis Vuitton laptop bag is like $1,800, $2,200, right? So this is not Louis Vuitton. It's sure as hell isn't JanSport.
Right.
Or Eastpak.
Or what is that? The one, the H? Herschel.
Herschel. It's not Herschel.
Okay.
That's like $34.
Okay.
Okay. I was thinking that that's like, because that's even more expensive than a Coach bag.
Right.
For a laptop, right? That's like even more expensive than Ferragamo. So what is that?
Maybe Gucci?
That's a Gucci bag. You're absolutely right. That's a Gucci bag that they're buying. $849.40. Have you guys no freaking shame as people are suffering? $849 for a laptop bag? You can't get your own damn bag with the amount of money that you make? And the fact that you are still working and making a goddamn paycheck while people are suffering on this island. $849 for a laptop bag. You guys can go on yourselves at BBMR. Civil Service Commission, $11,000. A Zoom subscription for $160.
Oh, it's a 11.0 5.6-inch casual laptop briefcase. It's the
Does
top
it come
loader.
with diamonds?
Well, that's what comes up. Laptop bags. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Unbelievable. They're going to spend $1,600 at Civil Service Commission for live stream webcast costs. You know how much we spend for this live stream webcast? Zero, except for the cost of the internet. Zero.
Mm-hmm.
A 60-inch smart television, $2,000. This is a 65-inch, right?
We got it for $660.
We got this 60-inch smart TV, 65-inch smart TV for $660. No, it was less. There was another discount. That cost you less. It was like it was a special day sale, $599. That's how much it was. $2,000. An iPad mini, $6,000. In what universe does an iPad mini cost $6,000? That's just one unit. A laptop, $1,500. At DYA, they want to spend $10,235 for $6,000 in computers, DSL for telework, and Zoom conferencing, $4,235. In what universe does it cost that much? Office of the Governor, $5,000 for a video conferencing system. What the hell have you guys been using for your video conferencing system? And why the hell can't you use that? This.
I hope each and every one of them gets caught.
I hope they go to jail. Oh my God, $33,400 for 12 laptops, that's $30,000. That's $2,500 for a damn laptop. Teleworking services to include Zoom, $1,000. What is the Zoom subscription? Isn't it like $19.99 a month?
Something, I don't know.
For the Zoom Pro?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But if they want to have 40-minute meetings, which they should, because they shouldn't be so inefficient that their meetings last more than 40 minutes, it's absolutely free, isn't it?
Yeah.
MiFi devices, 6 of them, $2,400. In what store is that they're getting a $400 MiFi device? I don't understand. Guam Police Department, $4,000. They want cell phones, that's $452. I don't know why they put plexiglass here. Wi-Fi router, PoE switches, okay, fine. University of Guam, on top of all of the laptops and all of the digital devices that they purchased through those credit cards, and it was hundreds of them, hundreds that they've purchased, they want $15,663 to purchase more laptops, more Adobe licenses, printers, ink
Maybe
cartridges,
they want another
computers.
PS4.
Yeah, another 5 PS4s.
Yeah.
And games.
Prim, can you just come off the screen?
I'm
All
gonna
of this
lose my
money to what? I just want candid land to know. There was a lady today. Someone gave her my number. She called. I told her that I'm here at work and the governor is live and I won't be able to leave. So she asked where our office was, and I told her it was in Tuman, and I explained. That old lady walked here because she was hungry. That's what's going on in the real world. She walked here.
Tell them where from, Prim.
Somewhere, maybe Hamburger Road, somewhere up there. She had an accent. I didn't really understand her, but I watched her walk because she called. She said she was at the entrance of the road, so I stood outside and I waited for her, and I'm looking for a car. And I see her walking. Okay, you can continue, Cello. The governor should be ashamed of herself. All these directors that turned in these, and don't tell me you don't hear it or don't see it.
Guam Visitors Bureau, a subscription for a bank card center for a pro power user of 5 computers, $989. Gita, this is ridiculous. 16,000, said that agency shouldn't even exist. That is a useless agency. $16,749. $149 for Zoom subscriptions. MiFi network, $4,000. Laptops, 7 of them, at a total set $12,600. Those are some good laptops, at our expense. EPA wants $8,000. Another useless agency. Laptop computers, $8,000. The judiciary makes sense. You know what? The judiciary wants for interpreters for poor people who they only want to spend $312 on that for something that is so vital and critical of a service to the underserved. Ganya Restoration and Redevelopment Authority said this is so full of $10,300. They want to purchase a $2,443 iPad. A $5,376 laptop. A backup battery, $596. External hard drives, $300. Network attached storage, $1,669. Let me let you in on a little secret, Hagutnian Restoration and Redevelopment Authority. The economy is shot. You are never, within the term of Governor Lulian Guerrero, gonna be able to move forward with Hagutnian Restoration. And there are so many other more important things to think about and to prioritize, that your existence as an agency has just been rendered moot by the coronavirus. So you can take this $10,000 and shove it up your asses. Department of Corrections, $15,000. Video communications to present detainees for court hearing as opposed to physical transport. What the hell is going on now then? You have video communications for detainees. I've seen it myself. GWA 9,000 for telework. I like to give GWA and GPA a break because they've been giving the people of Guam a break. Maintaining state prisons and county jails, including sanitation and improvement of social distancing measures. Of course, DOC will need a lot of money for that. They're getting $2.1 million. Economic support for small businesses, $20 million. Guahan Sustainable Farmers Emergency Relief, $5,000. Gee, I wonder what businesses acting as farmers are gonna get that money. Let's find out. Public assistance payments to individuals, $20 million. Well, at least there's something. At least they threw a bone to the people of Guam. Look at this one. This is related public health expenses. I smell BS. Department of Administration, $9.5 million. For improved financial reporting system to ensure compliance with CARES Act. That's $6 million. What a bunch of BS that is. 6 million, really? For a data system for compliance with CARES Act? That's a lie. And then you know what the balance of that is? The balance of the 9.5 million that Department of Administration is gonna get is to pay $3.5 million in projected credit card fees to guess what bank? Guess. Just take a wild guess who's gonna get $3.5 million in credit card fees. DYA, $7,500 for projected water filtration system to prevent the need to contract water delivery, which prevents human interaction. They are something else. They are something else. Who the hell is in charge of DYA? What ninny submitted that? GPD, $2,697 for washing machines. That makes sense so that their police officers can wash their stuff. Fine, that makes sense, finally. UOG, a dryer at Marine Lab housing to be used for possible quarantine location. Are you guys kidding? And it's a $655 dryer. Just go to Guam Grabs. You can get it from a drug dealer for $150. GVB, $202,000. You know why? They're getting a renovation too. They need to spend $15,600 in workstations. They need to, out of all of the money that is being paid to the employees of GVB, they're gonna spend $50,000 to come up with a crisis communications plan. You mean the one that already exists and has existed since 2008 and was amended in 2018? That crisis communications plan? Give me a break. Research office who handles customs forms relocation from the airport, $75,000. Okay, GMH gets $5 million. They deserve it. GITA, $56,000. Economist contract to track COVID-19 impact. What the hell is GITA for then? You guys have one job, and you want the people of Guam to outsource that job for $56,667. Fine, I think that's a good deal, but fire everyone at GITA then. Get rid of the agency and make that $56,000 the real appropriation, since you've just outsourced your entire existence. Office of the Medical Examiner is going to get less than GITA, $30,000. Public Health, $397,000. Let's see what's in here. Okay, they get a pass. DPW, $784,000. That's fuel based upon charges from DOA and GSA, and the one-stop permitting office of $750,000. Why the hell do they need $750,000 to run a permitting office that during normal times operates? What is that about? Rev and tax, $6 million. Get this. Improved records keeping and online tax filing to comply with the CARES Act. No. No. You guys have enough money to do that. You guys have a system. Judiciary, $160.16 for mailing costs. Thank you, Judiciary, for being practical there. And Department of Labor, $100,000 for an MOU with GCC for the temporary unemployment processing center. Okay, they can get a pass for that. For a grand total, ladies and gentlemen, of $117,986,257.80 of CARES Act funding that Congress specifically wanted the states and the territories to use for housing, for the homeless, and those who have home needs, for food, for the hungry, for education of children during this time.
Our partner says there's so much care from the CARES Act budget.
Unbelievable. It is not just Haig Huynh who needs to go to jail. It is Governor Lulian Guerrero. And any of her stupid, idiotic troll ninnies who have anything good to say about her because they've just got their nose so shoved far up the governor's ass that they can't see the reality of the situation with the people of this island who are suffering so greatly. And before I say something that will get us kicked off of Facebook, for Candid News, I'm Troy Torres.
And I'm Johnny Rosario.
Good night.
Good night.